Hello everyone, greetings and namaste. My name is Elijah. Thank you very much for watching this video. With me, I've gathered three very good friends of mine. Alright, the interesting thing about them is, other than the fact that they're all wearing glasses, what they have and share in common is that they're all spiritual practitioners and light workers here in Singapore. And I'm very privileged and honored to have them in my life and to have them here with me today to speak to you about the theme of spiritual awakenings as well as how to cope and deal with them. Alright? So, without much further ado, to my right, the rose among the thorns is returning guest, Janet Tree. If you would like to see my former interview with her, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe and check search her name. Alright? I have an interesting prior interview with her about her artwork. And to her right is Oliver Stason, and to his right is Tok Shen. Alright? Thank you guys for agreeing to come onto my talk show and sharing with the audience your experience and expertise. Could you perhaps briefly introduce yourself and what you do? Let's start with the rose among the thorns. Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Janet and I'm primarily an artist. I also write a lot about my spiritual experiences online on my spiritual blog. And yeah.
I'm Oliver. Some people know me as a shoka. I've always considered myself a seeker, always seeking, always learning. But recently I've been doing readings and healings as well.
Okay, I'm Tok Shen. So a lot of people call me Toki. So recently I learned hypnotherapy, and also I do alpha alignment, and I provide a few types of different Reiki healings. And I am also pretty much connected with the elemental realms. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Right, thank you guys for sharing. Right, in this video I want to talk about spiritual awakenings. Right, could you share with us the time, regressing yourself back to the time that you had your first major spiritual awakening? Right, I'll start with me. Right, I've always been interested in religion as well as all things esoteric from a young age, right? And mythical and mystical and metaphysical. And because of my parents, they're both spiritual practitioners themselves, so they kind of influenced me. But I did not actually delve deeply into it until in my early 30s, when I was going through a stage of severe depression. And I was speaking to a Korean lady friend of mine, and she suggested that I do meditation. And at the point, I felt that idea of meditating was ludicrous because I couldn't keep still for even 1 second, right? This monkey mind always said, how am I going to meditate? But at that point in time, you know, my vibrations and my moods were so low that I was kind of like really about to call it quits. It's either I seek enlightenment and find the answers, or I end my life. I was just that done with life because I was so frustrated that I couldn't find, regardless of always seeking externally for material things, that I couldn't find contentment and fulfillment in my life. So she brought me to buy a book called Ancient Teachings for Beginners by a Canadian psychic. And I read the book cover to cover, and to me I was like, oh, what's all this about, like, you know, chanting to open up the third eye? And to me it sounded very foreign. But I've always been curious about chakras and the esoteric, so I said, you know, there's nothing to lose, let me give it a try. And I started to follow the instructions in the book about chanting an ancient mystery school, an ancient Egyptian chant about that activates the third eye. And ever since then, I felt tingling sensations. I started to see orbs of light. I felt like I was floating, and meditation surprisingly became very effortless, and I felt really pleasant. And you know, I started to have all these amazing, wonderful, beautiful experiences. I can't even describe some of these experiences in words. And I felt so compelled that I need to find out more. So I quit my job. I dedicated all my time into experiencing and attending workshops, experiencing and practicing and reading more about spirituality and meditation and watching videos, and you know, just meeting other light workers like yourself and sharing our experiences. And that's basically the gist of how I had my own awakening. And you know, as they say, the rest is history, and I never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, you know, the best thing that ever happened to me. And because it inspired me so much, I really dedicate the rest of my life to helping others to grow and evolve spiritually.
Wow.
Okay.
Right. And you want to share? You the next one to share?
Unlike you, I started
Yeah.
the same way. I read a lot, so a lot of it I remember actually reading about psychics and people who wrote about the future. So like Mother Shipton and Nostradamus.
Yeah.
But those were like childhood books that I think as I got older, I kind of lost touch a bit with them. And I have to say for myself, maybe a bit of the same path, but I didn't fight meditation. I was actually really interested in it, and so there was a point in my life when I was still living in the States. I was really interested in Buddhism. I was really interested in Buddhist meditation, and so I went very deeply into that for a time. But I found myself having meditation experiences that when I asked the monk about it, I was told that the things I was experiencing and the things I was seeing in my meditations were not possible for me to see. I was told that what I was experiencing is more for people who have been monks in successive lives, and I was like, but I am seeing these things and experiencing these
Yes.
things. So that was my experience with Buddhism, and I would say my really big point of awakening or turning point was actually when I became a mom. I actually found it a really, really difficult time. Not so much because I know like postnatal depression is somewhat common, but
Yeah.
I had actually a lot more difficulties than that, including losing my brother, having a lot of difficulties with my daughter's kind of special needs at the time, other health things, and just a whole snowball of problems coming together, including supernatural experiences, and coming to that point where I realized, all these things I'd learned so far weren't enough. And I reached out for more spiritual teachers, and I found myself actually veering to a very different path from Buddhism. It was the New Age path, but it was the path that actually helped me make more sense of what was happening to me. So whether you want to call it awakening or whatever, it actually helped me started getting control over my life and to understand what was happening. One of the things I was, besides being a new mom, was I was also a historical guide going into these very old, we would call it unclean places in Singapore, and actually witnessing a lot of strange things in these places. So I had to basically connect with some of my newfound skills and abilities to protect myself and the people in my group. And yeah, I realized I had just been thrown into the mix, and all these the new knowledge and new wisdom that was coming into my awareness now was actually helping me really take control and kind of be on that side of protecting people and helping people.
Right, thank you, Jenna, for sharing this very insightful and interesting, all the psychic phenomena that surround that and supernatural happenings that surround it, that led you to develop and evolve spiritually,
Yeah, so that was very unexpected. It was a very busy time in my life. But yeah, that's my story.
How about you, Oliver?
Right. Well, my story, I've always been. It wasn't a really, like a spiritual awakening for me. It was more of a gradual learning journey. I think I'm like the rest of you. I started off with books as well. And all started with a book on feng shui. And just from that one book of feng shui, I started to get so hungry for more. I was learning Western and Chinese astrology. I was learning about paths to the 8 characters. I went into tarot cards, oracle cards, psychic phenomena, extraterrestrials, ascended masters, fairies, and then I started reading about, shamanism and nature communication. Even Tibetan Buddhism, I was very into Tibetan Buddhism because it kind of resonated with, it resonates very strongly with spirituality. That's what I feel. So mine was like a gradual journey. I started in 2005, and then I kept learning and going for all the spiritual fairs, and it was only in mid 2015 that I started to want to go pro with my spiritual services. So that's when I started offering readings and healings. Yeah, so I guess that's my story. It's just a straightforward one,
So one thing led to another,
Yeah.
and just hungry for
Hungry
learning,
for
to expansion. and
Don't we
growth.
all, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Right, Toshan?
Okay, regarding from mine, right, it started off as a trigger, and subsequently something else happened that resulted in a blast, like a boom.
Yeah.
So how it happened was in December 2010, my aunt, she's a master teacher in angelic Reiki. So what she did was she invited me to her workshop. So that was a workshop on angelic Reiki, and I learned that skill from her. And to me, I was actually very dubious back then because in that course, I trusted her, you see, because she's my beloved aunt. I trust her. Therefore, I told myself, okay, there's a reason for her to do this. Therefore, I trusted it, and I just went for it. So when I went to her center, she had a center, and I went for her center. And I was actually very dubious. Oh my god, there's a lot of angels around. There are like pictures of angels, like statues, figurines. And then I was like, is this like some religious thing? But no, okay, no, never mind. So it doesn't really matter to me because all I cared was, okay, my aunt has a purpose and I know her intentions are clear and it's all out of love.
Yes.
So I went for it, right? And then being a Reiki workshop, there will be attunements, and during those attunement meditations, then that's when I felt that something happened inside me.
Something activation.
Yeah, a sort of like a trigger, like something is like a bag that's like popped open. Yeah, exactly, it's like a pop open, and that's when I felt that okay, I should explore more in this. Why is she talking about? Because I know she's a Catholic, but she's talking about Buddha and Indian gods. Why? Then I was like, okay, never mind. But about another year later, what a real big spiritual awakening really happened was when I attended Awaken the Divine You, which is the trademark program under the Golden Space. And after the 6 days intensive program, I really felt that okay, something big really happened within and outside me.
Right.
Okay, and I felt that okay, I'm really different after the 6 days was over, and I started to be more connected to things, to more cultural things, like cultural stories and mythical stuff, and that's when I felt I had no idea why, but my experiences were I kept thinking about images of like unicorns and dragons and phoenixes. These cultural figures keep popping up on my mind.
Before that, no.
Before that they do, but it's not so
Also prevalent. Strong,
yeah.
yes.
But this one, after the 6 days, the 6 day course, it was like bam.
Like a tidal wave of
Yeah, like hey, hi, we're here. We're like talking to you. I've been trying to talk to you for ages, but listen about time.
About time.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Wakey, wakey, ding, 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 ding.
yeah, so that's when I went to study more about I went to read up more about cultural stuff, and thanks to angelic Reiki, the background of angelic Reiki, I sort of able to and the nature of angelic Reiki allows me to do healing based on connecting to different divine aspects, and because of my cultural connections with these mythical beings, and so in a way there's a linkage there.
Yes.
So I'm very happy and I feel privileged that I can do channeling work and meditation work and with insights from these cultural values, from these cultural aspects. Yeah, and it brought me up to new heights in myself, in my own personal development, and in spirituality as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much that's how my spiritual awakening is like.
Oh yeah, sure. You see, your own awakening can be very varied and diverse and very unique to yourself, right? There's no one form of awakening. Everyone has their own unique individual journey. And you must be wondering if you're newly awakening, right? That what's happening? Why is it so confusing? Am I the only one? Am I alone? Am I weird? Am I strange? Why am I seeing all these number synchronicities? 11, 11, 12, 12. And what's all these words and noises and sensations and that's happening, and or it's a lot of thing to grasp, and you find that people, your old friends are leaving you, and you get new friends coming in your life, and people don't understand you, and it is quite exciting, yet sometimes sometimes people are scared. They can be fearful about this experience and they try to block it out, but they find they can't. It's like a tidal wave of it happening, and they integrate all these new energies and not sure how to deal with it and what to do with these things, and they're just confused and scared, and they don't know where to turn to. So, from having experienced it yourself, right? And what is one pointer or tip you could give the someone who is going through this experience, Janet?
I think whatever you're experiencing, you do have to, not let anyone invalidate it for you. Do treat it as something that is trying to get your attention and does need your attention, and it's actually part of your process of self-growth, self-development, and getting to know yourself, and not just yourself, but actually, you could say the developing, the world, the new world that's developing around you. So actually embrace this time in your life, because it is going to be exciting, and I would say it's a lot better to greet this period with this kind of open mind and excitement rather than fear, because believe me, I think once you reach out to other people or start telling your story, you are going to find other people who are drawn to it and who are going to help you make sense of it.
Yeah. Right, this is a really good seed, you know. I think you approach it with positivity and enthusiasm, right? You're going to attract all these new amazing friends like you guys that I met, you know, that will understand you and support you and, like what you say, help you make sense and even play with you basically, you know, and evolve together, right? Oliver?
Yeah, well, I guess I would say, you know, open-mindedness is number one, and I think, you know, the fact that you are already exploring and discovering more into spirituality, I think that's a good sign of open-mindedness. So I think that's very important. But at the same time, you know, for me, I come from a very conservative family. They are very Catholic, so you know they may not be very open to this kind of things. So I guess the approach that I would advise, or even I would take, would be one of love and compassion. I think, you know, if they are open to it, you can share with them. But you know, if you know, I mean, they might judge and they might label you. That's fine, you know, as long as you know yourself, you know, you trust your own heart basically, and you know, whatever you give back to them, whatever whatever you say to them, do it with love and come from a place of compassion as well and understanding. I think that's very important.
This is a really beautiful expansion of what Janet just said, right? Toki, you have anything to share?
I have something that's very similar to what they actually shared. Janet said something about embracing, and it's very important because when you go through spiritual awakening, it means that a big change is occurring in your life, and to you yourself especially. So when that happens, you will definitely experience a lot of different things, and that's when you start, you know, like what Luke said, you know, that you start to question yourself, you know, am I the only one? Things like that. The answer is no. Okay, you're not the only one. A lot of people out there are all facing it, and they are all facing their own challenges as well. But what you can really do about it is you realize that okay, when gifts manifest themselves out of you, hey, it's a gift. Take it.
Yep.
You know, it's meant for it. You know, be proud of it. I am able to do certain things. Okay, then I'll be like, okay, no, I'm able to do this. Okay, there's a purpose why I can do this, and I know for me personally, I'm very glad about it. I'm very grateful. I'm thankful, and I put it to good use. And at the same time, you realize that as you change, things. An example of things happening would be, let's say, losing friends. Okay, this is actually a concern that I took notice of because there are people who talk to me about it. So, and they tell me things like, okay, they feel very sad that, you know, they have friends that, you know, they have been with them for a long time, but you know, they just leave them, and they feel sad about it. Well, honestly speaking, I experienced that myself, and I couldn't understand that, but after a while I realized that, you know, the reason why it changed and those old friends, they leave you is because
you change.
Yes. Exactly, and you sort of raise yourself to a little higher
level.
You see, the people that you surround yourself with are those of your own vibration and your own energy field. And in that sense, that means that only people of your energy will come towards you.
Yes.
And so if they choose not to race together with you, they will just drop out this way.
Exactly.
So there's no need for you to feel sad, because whenever there's an empty space, it means that something new is going to come in.
The universe will fill it.
Right.
Yeah. So see it in this new positive way, whereby, you know, it's okay. Just be grateful to them. Okay, they serve their purpose in your life. You guys help each other for your own personal growth, and therefore there's an empty space. You know, just wait for whoever it is to fill up this new slot that carries a higher vibration together with you as well.
Right, very beautifully said, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're never alone in this. There's a huge community of love and light waiting to welcome you. And so if you have any doubts, questions, or you're still confused, you can seek any one of us, right? They're all healers, they're all trained, they all, you know, have been doing this for several years and continue to grow and expand together, and we're like a family, really. Indeed, right?
You'll find your new tribe.
Exactly. New try. I love that. New try. Right. Why don't you guys tell the audience how you can serve them and a little bit on some of the new or upcoming exciting news or projects that you have, Janet?
Okay, well, I do offer card readings, and you can find my websites online. I also do custom and channel paintings, and one of the things coming out for me soon is actually my self-love oracle deck. And so you might have seen this on my own website or YouTube channel already. This was actually the first prototype deck, and I've shown this a lot already. So
Beautiful
I'm gonna. Thank you.
It's amazing.
It's decades of my artwork actually going into this deck.
It's like a portfolio. Show them the back. Show them the artwork in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is actually one painting that is kind of based on the sacral chakra and just that act of creation. So let me actually share with you what the deck that's coming out is going to look like. So it's gonna look like this. It is the self-love oracle, and I think a lot of what we just covered about kind of discovering your new path or your new calling or your new purpose. These cards were actually really designed for that purpose, to help you validate your own experiences and your own kind of inner knowing, and just to, a lot of it I feel on the spiritual path is getting to know yourself and accepting yourself and accepting your gifts as well as your challenges, and actually eliminating some of the either cultural conditioning, your childhood programming, or false beliefs that you might have been holding for a long time, and now is the time to shed them. And if you are interested, then I do invite you to kind of pick this up when it's out, because a lot of these cards are really trying to help you through that journey.
Right, when will it be released?
You're looking at late February or kind of mid-March, so around that time.
Very soon.
And can you buy it online?
Yes, you'll be able to buy it online, and maybe in some of the shops here in Singapore.
Awesome. Oliver?
Well, I currently have two services. The first one is called Eclectic Reading and Healing, where I use tarot and oracle cards to read your situation. I also try to tap into your Akashic records, and at the same time I heal if your situation needs healing. That was my very first service. But a recent service which I've just launched is called Eclectic Chakra Fine Tuning. So this
You should try it. I highly recommend.
Thank you so much. I combine many modalities in this again. Crystals, color, Reiki, sound, tuning forks,
Shamanism.
The shamanism. I do chant mantras and everything. So I combine all these to sort of balance, fine tune, recalibrate your chakras as well. So if you're interested, all my services are listed on my website. You can go to ashokahealing.com. Yeah.
Okay. For me. I practice a few different kinds of modality. The first kind of modality that I practice is called alpha alignment. So it's not a healing modality, but it's rather a kind of therapy whereby the main purpose is to unleash your potential. And what really happens is I clear and remove your blockages so that your energy can flow. And in that sense, it's not me healing you, but you can do self-healing. And with that also, you are able to have a greater sense of self-awareness. You get to understand yourself more through this therapy work. That's the first one. The second one I do is hypnotherapy. I got this recently, and I'm certified to do hypnotherapy. The third one that I do is actually general healing work. It comprises of angelic Reiki, Karuna Reiki, and general elemental based healing work. And all my services come with a complimentary reading. So the reading can be either from cards, or it can just be like channel work. Yeah.
Toki, how can the audience contact you on Facebook?
Oh, okay. For right now, I don't have a website, so it would be great if you can contact me via Facebook, or just private message me, or if you do know people who have mutual friends with me, you can just contact them and find out more about me as well. Yeah.
I'll be placing all their links below this video, so feel free to click on them to support these wonderful practitioners. Alright, thank you guys again for watching this video. And thank you again for coming on to my talk show.
Sure.
We definitely will see more of them, right? To have them again to come back to talk about future spiritual topics, right? Thank you guys for watching this video.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Blessings of love and grace and light to all of you. Right.